can't cancel greatness. Sorry, can I just say?
Oh my God.
Yeah, go with that. Lead with that.
Done. Next question. Done.
We've all been asked individually and as a group, when is it coming out again? When is season 2 happening? So, and Nita thankfully has been very busy. And she's been, went out and did an amazing film. And I think people just wanted more. And I think it spoke to a lot of people. And I think it's finally out because people wanted season 2.
It was quite exciting. We knew it was coming, didn't we? We just didn't know when it was happening. What's really exciting is to come back and have such an acclaimed and successful season 1, but to come back with what Nida's done this season. That's really, it means that you can ask us, like, how do you feel about season 2? And we're confident because we know she's smashed it out of the park. And these ladies are so phenomenal.
One of the standout moments from the episodes is, of course, the iconic number Malala Made Me Do It. Arguably, she's one of the most recognised Muslim women in the world right now. So, like, what it was like to have her be on the show celebrating Muslim women.
It was such a chaotic day on set. I think everyone was so charged up, buzzing that Malala was going to be there. It was just such a quite funny atmosphere for us. I think everyone around us was like,
Everyone is saying, it's happening on Thursday. And it was very endearing because people were really excited.
It was so exciting.
And she was just a pro. Like, she's really comfortable in her own skin. And Nita put her on a horse, which was iconic, and put her on a gold horse, and she just made it work. Like Beyonce, she's like, I'm on a horse.
Julia, I really love your character, Aisha, and I guess I was so excited to see that she gets to explore this romance with Laura this season. I'd love to know more about the journey that Aisha's going to go on, as a queer woman, both figuring out her identity and how that works within a relationship this season.
Yeah, I think it's a really good question because I think that's a lot of what she's concerned about. And I think that the romantic kind of, how do I put this? Her situation with Laura, who's played by Anna Tolstoy, who's great. It's kind of symbolic, I think, of the wider issue with Aisha, which is where she's trying to figure where she fits. And I think that's a really vulnerable journey for her and something that's quite tender. And I think that was a lot how I think the experience felt, both in playing it and also Aisha's journey, because we see her as such a fierce protector who kind of doesn't take and doesn't let anyone from the band take and is always so ready with a biting comment or a snarky little side thing, or just always trying to protect her sisters and herself. And I think what season 2 has done really beautifully is kind of show the limits of how Aisha protects herself and what that means she may be closing herself off from, what that may be that she doesn't get to experience or she does get to experience. And I think her vulnerability, and I think in dealing with those, you kind of get a more rounded picture of who Aisha is.
I guess similarly, Anjana, with Amina, I love that she gets quite a bit of rom-com vibes this season, and this whole dynamic between her and Essen and Billy and all of that. I feel like it's so rare to see a hijabi Muslim woman who is portrayed as really desirable and in charge of her own romantic destiny on these shows. What does it mean to bring that plot to life this season?
On one level, I was living out all my sort of rom-com fantasies, because I love rom-coms myself. So to get to be in one and Nita charted that journey so wonderfully and in a really funny, endearing way. And Amina went through such a journey in season 1 of just coming out of her shell and just learning to be comfortable in her skin. So to be able to push that further and show that she is capable of love and be loved by someone, just felt very powerful and real. And she's very messy with exploring all of that. And that's very, very relatable, I think.
Yeah, all of your characters go through different trials and tribulations and journeys over the course of the 2 seasons. I would love to know if there's any stereotypes that you yourselves have encountered in your life that you've had to fight against.
What's really exciting about Lady Parts in this cast is that you're watching loads of people that, in the face of all that, have created these incredible careers and these wonderful performances. And I think it's because we understand that experience of having to fight and represent and push into those spaces that you wouldn't typically see us. It means that when we have characters like these, we really take care of them, we really nurture them because we understand that they're important. It's been such a privilege and an honor to be in a cast where it's so many people get to step out and say, this is what I'm going through, this is my voice, and there is space for each and every one of them. I think that's been really empowering. It's not just who you're playing when you're on a set like this, it's what you get to see. That is quite life-changing. It's beautiful.
I have so much respect for all of these women because I think it's the hardest thing ever to be funny. And especially now in this day and age, like we take ourselves so seriously, and the effortlessness of what comes out, like these stunning performances that you just, in the moment, you're like, what? That was so funny. Like, how is this pouring out of you? So yeah, you're all amazing. I don't know, it's just been a really beautiful, generous space. Our casting creatives, the crew, it's so diverse and very female-centric actually, which is such a joy. And hopefully now it's not going to become as rare, but it is quite rare to step on a set that feels so female-heavy and so diverse, black and brown heavy, and there's just certain conversations you can have, or there's like an unspoken contract because someone understands your lived experience that it's just so special. I think that's what's made it work so well, I think. Yeah,
absolutely. And going on to the soundtrack as sort of a final longer question, any favorite moments from the soundtrack this season, and like, yeah, how did you go about approaching curating the music, I guess, from your own perspectives when you came into this season?
This season was so much harder. So we had, yeah, and we had so much time in the first season because of lockdown, and we had our instruments, we had time to play. But this one had seemed to happen so quick, and the songs were so much harder. And for Bath, I think people again might be think it's TV magic or it's manipulated. You guys really do the band rehearsals, and it's pure musicianship and lots of hard work. I leave set a bit early, and they're like, "Okay, I've got band rehearsal." I'm like, but they work really, really hard, and I think it pays off. But I think it's so easy to maybe think, "Oh, they're not really doing that," but they do it. One of my favorite moments, genuinely, is when Faith sings a Nina Simone song, and I will say no more, but it's amazing. So beautiful.
It's amazing.
It is one of the most beautiful moments in the show.
Going into the more like quick fire ones, if anybody has any responses to them, your favorite punk tune?
This band called Takbir have a really amazing album also called Takbir, and it's just insane. I've been rinsing that whole album.
There's a band I discovered while sort of researching season 1, and they're called, I might be saying their name wrong, so Voice of Basiprat, who are Indonesian, and they're a hijabi punk band. And it just confirms for me how much the show is also inspired by real life, Muslim women and punk musicians. And growing up in like Singapore and Southeast Asia, Muslim punk was not some sort of novel concept. And I think Voice of Basiprat are amazing. And I think they've since seen Lady Parts. I think they have. Yeah. I got like a DM from one. Yeah. But they're like the real life. They're the real life Aminas putting a band together. They're all these really like so cool, badass punks.
Your best air instrument imitation.
Oh my, what are you What guys? Yeah.
In a few words, what does your villain era look like?
Boundaries. Liberating.
Oh, mine looks like a beach. It looks like an all-inclusive. Like a 5-star retreat.
And my final question is for whoever wants to give a little message to all the Muslim kids out there trying to figure out their place in society, what you would have to say for them.
Big old couldn't. Yeah, you have a place, you belong, your people are here, and everything that you are, just own it and love it because the world needs you.
You're not wrong for being you. Like, whatever idiosyncrasy or contradiction or difficulty or something you can't square away with yourself, that's so human. And I think something that Lady Parts does so well is just show how differently but how similarly we're all struggling with being vulnerable, giving, not giving, taking, experiences, love, loss. It's all there. And I think to anyone out there who like watches the show and it resonates with you, you're seen. There's people out there that's for you, and you're not wrong. No one is wrong. You're an amazing person, and you're loved, super loved.